On your mark, get set. Let's go.
Okay, here we go. Good morning. Welcome to the fabulous, fantastic football Friday edition of Snowman in the Morning. Glad to have y'all with us. We are presented by BetUS.com as well as Invader Coffee. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Cole Johnson. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Victory Friday in this household, Jack.
So you are definitely happy.
I had fun calling that game last night.
Mm-hmm.
I had fun doing that game and calling that game. And I even teased that Jody would make an appearance. I mean, she did it behind the scenes, but people picked up when she spoke. But yeah, she was teasing me throughout the game last night. I would give a stat and you'll just hear her behind me go, nuh-uh, and I'll just start laughing. This is how crazy it got. It got so comfortable. Even Binks made an appearance. One of my kittens, because we hadn't seen him in a couple of days.
Mm.
Opened the door to let Lucy out, and Binks goes, "Okay, I'm home," and just jumps right back in the house. So I took a break and brought Binks to Jody. She got excited because, like I said, we hadn't seen him and we thought something bad had happened to him. But Binks is home. He's out roaming around the farm right now. You fool! Give me this camera. Yes, LeBron, it is you. It's always been you. It always will be you. Forever and ever. Amen. Why is that so hilarious to me?
Welcome back to Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. We are joined by our brother Wise El Jefe. And of course, what you just saw was now the official new intro to Snowman.
You realize you had my wife laughing so hard with that intro that she got up and walked away.
Before she walked away, what did she say about it?
Nothing. Later on, she just came up to me and said, "Pure perfection because it's you," and I was cracking up, and then walked walked away. And I said, "Honey, I did not put that together." She says, "Oh, I know. The evil genius put it together." But still, she says, and I quote, "Still, he's a fool for doing that, but it's perfect." So you are appreciated in this household, sir.
Good. Thank you.
All right. Speaking of appreciative, the Niners are 3-0. Giants dropped to 1-2 after a 30-12. I may as well call it the way I saw it. Shellacking of the Giants last night in Santa Clara. Let's go to some highlights. These are courtesy of KNBR, the flagship station for the 49ers, and WFAN.
When do you ever show highlights of games? Can I ask you something? I got a question. When do you ever show highlights of games during the show?
Like now, first quarter.
Yeah. I just want to know. This question. It's just a
Wise. I say this playfully. Shut up and take your medicine like a man.
For those who are unaware, Wise is a Giants fan. Hardcore, he bleeds big blue.
Listen. I will say this forever. As much as I tease Wise, I have so much respect for Big Blue and the New York Giants throughout their history. You know, Bill Parcells made me a fan forever. You know, and I will always love the New York Giants. Besides, Y'all got 2 on us in Candlestick Park in the NFC Championship game. Damn it!
Pass, man. That's past.
Will you just shut up and take that? No, okay. Let me get it. Okay, let's get to our highlights presented by BetUS.com. I'm going to do more of these on
next week.
Monday.
I better see the next. I got to see the next Thursday night game highlights on here next week,
and they'll have my call with it. Depending my schedule, it'll have my call with it. First quarter tied at 3. Nick Bosa does this.
Snap, play fake, gonna get sacked back at the goal line. Is it a safety? No. They say he's stopped at the 1. Bosa got the sack, his first of the year.
Yeah, they fooled no one with that bootleg there. Looks like they were waiting for that one.
And I did show some better Giants highlights. 3 apiece remains the score. Then Christian McCaffrey does this.
Snap. They throw it towards the end zone. It is caught by Ronnie Bell.
Penalty.
Flag is down. Do I give it? Touchdown! San Francisco.
I believe this is going to be on the
Offsides
New York
Giants,
Giants.
right?
What an anticipation throw from Brock Purdy. Oh, my God. Down and Purdy anticipating and throwing that ball before Ronnie Bell even made it.
Ronnie Bell with that touchdown made the score 10-3. Greg Papa on the call for KNBR. Bob Papa on the call for WFAN for the New York Football Giants. That made the score 10-3 at the time. And something I said during my broadcast last night, the Giants were hell-bent on taking the run away. And Wise, you said it yesterday, and you said it so perfectly. The Giants blitz the most in the NFL, and that was the key for the Giants last night. We talked about it yesterday. The key was for the Giants to put as much pressure on Purdy as possible. Early on in the game, Purdy was off his stride. He was not statistically doing well, but when plays had to be made, the 49ers made the plays. It was still 10-3 at that point. Later on in the second quarter, this is Christian McCaffrey's touchdown.
Inside gun run to McCaffrey. Touchdown! CMC!
The way he can get through those little creases, 3 or 4 cuts, playing off the blocks in front of him. Brendel had a huge block. Burford had a huge block. They were stunning the front.
That made the score 17-3. Giants got a field goal at the tail end of the first half from Graham Gano, 57 yards out. That made it 17-6. And after a penalty against the 49ers in the second half, after their first possession, gave the Giants the ball at the Niners 37, and then Matt Breida paid off the drive.
Handoff, Breida dashes up the middle. Breida to the 5. Breida to the goal line. Is he in? No signal. Yes, touchdown Giants. Matt Breida, the former Niner, races it in, and the Giants score here in the third.
That made it 17-12.
Oh, so the Giants did have a highlight in this game.
Now remember,
that's about it. And then a bunch of pass interference calls.
Yeah, I heard the game was littered with a whole lot of pass interference calls.
Both there was one illegal contact and one defensive holding call that came on the drive that actually wound up producing produced a field goal, made it 20-12, and then made it 23-12 a little bit later, and then this happened.
They're going to throw, and here's Purdy going to throw one deep, wide for Debo. Made the catch on the back shoulder. Touchdown! San Francisco!
And a back shoulder banger for Debo.
Beautiful throw from Brock Purdy to hit Debo.
That wasn't a throw.
That made it 30-12. Then Talanoa Hufanga sealed the game.
They're going to throw.
Oh,
and here's Purdy.
I didn't know that. 30-12 was the final. Niners are 3-0 on the year. Giants dropped to 1-2. Brock Purdy, 25 of 37, 310 yards, plus those 2 touchdowns, one to Ronnie Bell, one to Deebo Samuel. Christian McCaffrey, 15 carries, 85 yards on the night. As a team, the 49ers, 401 total yards, Giants, 159, and Cole's trying to think of something.
I thought coming into the season, the 49ers offense was supposed to suck.
No, I thought that too. I thought the 49ers made a mistake in starting Brock Purdy at quarterback.
I thought they were going to take a step back because of that, but
Because of what? Purdy?
yeah, because of Purdy, and sort of his injury stuff, and the fact that more than likely they would have to either start Trey Lance, or of course he's now a Cowboy, or Sam Darnold. And
I thought that
you know,
too.
yeah,
I heard,
but
I heard every bit of that noise. Let me give you the stat of the day presented by BetUS.com. The 49ers converted 6 of their first 8 third downs that they faced and finished, I said 9 for 13 last night. That was a mistake. 9 for 16 on third downs. They outscored the Giants 441 to 150. And here is the point that Cole made yesterday and earlier in the week as we previewed this game. 39 minutes and 10 seconds time of possession for San Francisco. 39 minutes.
that does my heart good when a team knows that the value is holding on to the football and saving your defense. When a team does that, that makes my heart happy. I love hearing that.
Let me correct the stat. 18 carries, 85 yards for Christian McCaffrey. He also tied a team record as he has a touchdown. He scored a touchdown in his 12th straight game, tying the record set by Hall of Famer Jerry Rice in 1987. Of course, Rice finished with 22 touchdowns that year. 30 to 12 was the final. Niners now get 10 days off before we have to face the Arizona Cardinals. The Giants get 10 days off before their next opponent. And Wise, I know you gave a simple recap, but I want you to help me break down this game. Where do you think the game was lost for the Giants last night?
Oh Lord,
It's too long. Okay, first of all, we discussed this at the beginning. O-line. Oh, this is the issue the whole entire year. The O-line. You expect Daniel Jones to perform miracles when he doesn't have a chance to throw the ball, to do anything.
Right.
So I said it was going to start on the offensive line and defensive line. We had to stop the run, which we couldn't do.
right?
We couldn't protect our quarterback. You win the game in the trenches.
And you
right
couldn't
now,
get
we're
after the
getting
quarterback last night too. So yeah,
Huh? Yeah.
and you couldn't effectively get after the quarterback last night too.
Yeah. So you go into a game where you're getting dominated on both sides of the line. How do you expect to win that way?
Yeah.
You
That's a
don't
really
win
good
that
point.
way. That's where the game is won, in the trenches. If those linemen don't produce, it's a wrap.
Yeah. And
if you don't put pressure, you can't protect your quarterback. Those are two key elements of the game. If you lose those, it's a wrap. It's over for you.
And Wise, you spoke about it, and you said it so eloquently yesterday, and you said it again this morning. The Giants had to put pressure on Brock Purdy. When they got that first sack and threw the 49ers off schedule, you would have thought at the time it was tied at 3, and this is the Niners' second drive of the game where they had to punt the football. They threw the 49ers off schedule and threw them off schedule several times during that game. But when the Niners got back on schedule, you saw the touchdown to Ronnie Bell. You saw the touchdown pass to Deebo Samuel. McCaffrey runs it in. Once the Niners, got resituated and going, and quite honestly, even though they led 17-6 at the half, the Niners offense really didn't get going until they held the Giants off of a 2-point conversion. And then they were able to take the next 2 drives and turn them into points. They turned them into 6 points, making the score 23-12. And then that beautiful dime to Deebo Samuel to essentially put the game out of reach.
My question to you, Wise, is this. So I agree with you. Games are won in the trenches. No question about that. And yeah, offensive line really wasn't up to par in terms of running the ball. And even though they could have protected Daniel Jones better, allowing 2 sacks is not a bad showing by the offensive line, but it's not a great showing by him. My question to you, sir, is why did the Giants not actively pursue a wide receiver, either in the draft or in free agency leading up to this year?
Right.
Because I don't get why you would think that Daniel Jones would only need Saquon out the backfield and Darren Waller.
Well, we thought they thought they were getting something in Paris Campbell. Jalen Hyde was the best receiver in college football last year. Let's not forget that he was the best college football receiver in college football. I guess I get it. It was the big game was against Alabama, and he had, but he won the Biletnikoff for best receiver. So they did draft. So it's young. They're still got Jalen Hyde still has to learn the NFL.
Right.
Not having Saquon is a big blow because it changes. Now we have to pass. We don't have a reliable running game. Eric Gray's a rookie. Breida, we know what he is. He's a serviceable backup. Without Saquon, you become one dimensional. And so now you're double teaming down Darren Waller.
Which they did last night.
You really don't have the chemistry with Jalen Hyde and Paris Campbell because they don't play any games in the preseason. Like they play one or two series
and that's it.
Preseason, and that's it. And how do you expect them to really gel if they're not getting experience in live action? So that's the issue that I have with the way they do preseason. I guess I get it, injuries and stuff like that. But look at now, injuries are still happening.
Even a bigger clip.
Yeah, much bigger clip. Some of the numbers last night. Daniel Jones, 22 of 32, 137 yards. He threw an interception. That was the Talanoa Hufanga. Matt Breida, 4 carries, 17 yards. You mentioned Wise, former 49er, got the lone touchdown for the Giants last night. As a team, the Giants rushed 11 times for 29 yards. Meanwhile, Elijah Mitchell alone rushed 11 times for 42 yards. I don't even have to put McCaffrey's numbers up there, 18 for 85 plus a touch. But Elijah Mitchell by himself outrushed the New York Giants. And it goes back to what Wise said a few moments ago. Games are won in the trenches. And the Giants couldn't establish the trench last night, even though they did get to within 5, 17-12 in the third quarter. Did it seem to you guys that the Giants really didn't, I'll say it bluntly, have a chance last night? Because we thought this would be a slobber knocker of a defensive battle last night. We all said this.
You know something? I actually thought when you asked Wise the question, what did the Giants do that would make you think that they were going to win the game? I thought his answer was actually going to be take the field.
Right.
Because and I'm not saying this to poke fun at them or even the Giants, but I'm saying from the standpoint of I actually felt the Giants deflate a little bit when they saw Saquon getting helped off the field in the desert. It was and then when you got the game-winning field goal. Even when I was talking with Wise Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday leading up to yesterday, I didn't get the Giants got one feeling. Right. I got the God, this is gonna suck. So Saquon's gonna be out, and we're gonna go to Santa Clara. This is gonna suck. That was the feeling I got. Now I didn't hear those words per se out of Wise's mouth, but that was the feeling I got.
Yeah, because again, I am a realist. I'm not like these Jets fans who think that they got a shot, even though they're playing Zach Wilson. It's I'm a realist. Without Saquon, we suck. He is the offense. He is what opens up the offense. If not, you get the key. You get the key. You get to put as many cornerbacks out there. It seems like there's 20 of them out there. But it's crazy. So, but then you have an O-line that doesn't give him. First of all, he's rushing passes because he doesn't have time to throw. So when you add all that up, like where your offensive line is not protecting your quarterback, where he has to rush throws or he's getting sacked, almost a safety early in the game. Almost. It wasn't for the fact
came this close.
At the 1 yard line. So. They need to start correcting things. I do believe that they do have the right people in charge, and they will eventually fix it.
Yeah, I think they're good there. Yeah,
it's just a process. It's a process.
It is.
If they continue to play like this, D. Willie's prediction is gonna come through. I don't want to admit it. I don't want to admit it, Mr. Disrespectful. But anyway, besides that, Yeah, no, it's sad.
Lord
It's
have
sad. It's a sad day to be a Giants fan. But hey, you know what? Like I said, I'm ready for NBA. What's the countdown? We got like a month or so.
4 weeks away.
It's about a little less than a month and from opening tip off for regular season.
Sam Shady now joins us on the Invader Coffee guest line. Good morning, Sam. How are you?
Doing great, Brian. How are you this morning?
I'm doing good, man. Niners won last night, and I've expected the Eagles to do the same on Monday night to keep up.
I'm hoping. I'll tell you what, though. This is a sneaky good matchup. Tampa Bay's defense might actually be perfectly designed to contain Jalen Hurts in this offense.
How so? What's the first thing that you look at? What's the first thing you see when you see this Tampa Bay defense going up against Jalen Hurts and the Eagles?
Well, the first thing I look at are those pass rushers on the outside edge. You look at Shaq Barrett and Joe Tryon, and both of those guys are just unbelievably athletic. So they're more outside linebackers than they are true defensive ends. Obviously, they run a 3-4 front there. So it makes a lot of sense that these two guys will be used to kind of set the edge and kind of force Jalen Hurts to stay in the pocket as much as possible during this game. We'll probably see some containment or coverage sacks due to this, and I expect that this defensive line will do some damage this weekend.
How good is this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team? Because a lot of folks really wrote them off after Baker was declared the starter, part one, and part two after Tom Brady retired. But them being off to a 2-0 start, how good is this Buccaneer team?
Well, I'm actually of the thinking that they're sneaky good. They're one of the teams that I believe could be a dark horse candidate for a playoff run. I don't know that they're going to make it too far in the playoffs, but if they make the playoffs with Baker Mayfield after losing Tom Brady and they're able to move forward with that momentum into 2025, I honestly think you got to consider that a win for the Buccaneers given everything that's gone on, over this offseason.
What do you think turned the light on for the Buccaneers as we preview this game on Monday night?
Well, honestly, I think it was the Tom Brady retirement. I mean, you look at that and you no longer have a Hall of Fame quarterback leading the way. But at the same time, he's taught you the methods to be successful. He's taught you a championship manner or mindset. So you have that culture there. You just needed it to be continued by the veteran leaders on the team. And it seems like, from the outside looking in, they've done a very good job of kind of keeping that culture, keeping that mentality, even though, again, they don't have Tom Brady, one of the greatest, if not the greatest quarterback ever to play the game at that position anymore.
Sam Shady joining us here, previewing Monday Night Football between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Eagles are 2-0 coming into this matchup, but I used a word earlier this week that describes them, and that word is vulnerable. How vulnerable is this Philadelphia Eagle club right now?
Well, to be completely honest, as an Eagles fan, I think they're more vulnerable than I expected them to be early in the season, especially after last weekend. We had some key injuries that could come back to bite us in the long run. We're now possibly going to be missing Avonte Maddox for a long period of time. He's a really good nickel cornerback. I know a lot of people kind of undersell that nickel cornerback position, but in modern offenses, they're using 3 and 4 wide receivers more than they are lining up in an 11 personnel. So, I mean, if that's the case, you really, really need a solid nickelback. And with Maddox hurt, I don't know that we necessarily have that. We've got a bunch of young guys. We've got some guys at safety who might, kick down and play some snaps there as well. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that all works out injury-wise. But that's actually my large concern going into this Tampa Bay game. You lose Avonte Maddox. Yes, we still have Bradbury. Yes, we still have Slay. But Tampa Bay has a lot of depth at that wide receiver position, and they can do a lot of damage if you allow them to. And that's my big concern heading into this game with Reed Blankenship and Avonte Maddox both hurt.
Let's go to the Eagles offense. And one thing that they did against Minnesota last Thursday night, they ran the football to the tune of over 200 yards, and DeAndre Swift finally got some touches, finally got used as the bell cow running back that he was built to be. DeAndre Swift, of course, in his 8th year out of Georgia. How big is it for the Eagles to rely, and I mean really, really rely on DeAndre Swift?
Well, I think that's where our offense should start, is DeAndre Swift, and then everything should come after him. And I know that's weird to say when you have, guys like AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, all these talent that we have at wide receiver, and Jalen Hurts at quarterback. But the run game should be there to set up the pass, not vice versa.
Right.
We've always been a run-first team. When we made the Super Bowl in 2017 and won it, we had guys like LeGarrette Blount, Jay Ajayi, big backs. And I know Swift isn't necessarily that back, but in my mind, he's the perfect back for our offense because his value in the passing game, and on top of what he's able to do as a bell cow runner. So I personally think you give that guy 15 to 20 touches a game until he starts to wear down late in the season. And maybe that's when we start to see Rashad Penny take, more like 10 to 15 touches a game rather than the 5 to 10 we've seen so far. I do expect the Eagles to get Penny more involved, hopefully earlier on in games, to keep Swift fresh longer this season. But that's definitely something to watch, because if we keep having this seesaw action with his touches, I think we're going to see a seesaw action with the success of our offense, because with him in there, we're much more dynamic than we are with Boston Scott or Rashad Penny or Kenneth Gainwell, even, who's a great receiver. It's just Swift has that elite ability to be a great runner and a great receiver, which is hard to find.
It is very hard to find. And of course, with backs like that can catch out of the backfield, one of the first names that comes to mind for me, not only as a 49er fan, but as a football historian, is Roger Craig.
100%. One of the best to ever do that role. And you see another guy in San Francisco right now, Christian McCaffrey. He is unbelievable. One of the best that has ever played already, in my opinion, just given what he's able to do in both phases of the game. And I think Swift has that same talent level. He's just never quite put it together, due in large part to injuries. He cannot stay healthy to save his life. So that's my big concern. And we're going to have to find a way to give him the load, but at the same time, manage it to a certain extent so you keep it healthy throughout the year, because we definitely need Swift to be available for the playoff run, even if it means shutting him down for the last 2 weeks of the season or 3 weeks of the season, depending on when we clinch playoffs.
Before we go to our review of last night's game, let's give you the line provided by BetUS.com. Eagles are favored by 5. They're laying 5 points on the road in Tampa. The over-under is 46. We'll talk about this in our group picks as well, but let me get Sam's pick on this one. -5 for the Eagles, over/under 46. What say you?
Man, 46 is the over/under. I think I'm going to go under on that. I would be betting the under, and I'm obviously picking the Eagles, but I expect it to be a fairly close game. I really like that defense and what they should be able to do against the Eagles. So I think we're going to see a game like maybe like a 24-18 or something like that.
Right. That's kind of what I expect too. What I expect also. Got to make a correction. 7:15 is the kickoff time. They will start the doubleheader. Rams and Bengals will start at 8:15. Let's go to Levi's Stadium last night. 49ers moved to 3-0 on the year. They beat the Giants 30-12. Even though the Giants A, tied this game at 3, and B, they got to within 17-12 in the third quarter after having a very short field. This game was never ever in doubt, given the 49ers marching right down the field. Yeah, they only got 3 instead of 7. But two stats I want to look at. They were a whiz on third downs, 9 for 13, part 1. And part 2, they imposed their will in the running game. And it's not just it wasn't just McCaffrey, it was Elijah Mitchell, it was Deebo Samuel. They imposed their will in the running game.
100%. I expected this to be a victory for the 49ers, but I think this game was a little bit more convincing than I really expected. And man, that defense, their ability to shut down everything the Giants tried to do was impressive. I mean, for them to only allow 12 points maybe looks like a little bit worse than it really should, quite honestly, because that game, like you said, was never in question. Giants could not move the ball. Typically, when they did, they were kicking field goals, and they just weren't closing the gap score-wise. And ultimately, I mean, just to throw this out there, I mean, I think the team as a whole for the Giants didn't even combine for 40 rushing yards. It was literally 29 rushing yards. That's scary. I mean, you're putting the onus on Daniel Jones and expecting him to win games, and that's never going to work. He's not that quarterback, despite the contract you handed him.
No, he's never been that guy. Now, I watched Daniel Jones at Duke, and I thought he had a chance to be, but be that as it may, and I hate saying this, the wrong team selected him. Yeah. I mean, he could definitely have gone a couple different places that would have been a better fit for him. And I think, to be fair, had he been with Brian Dable from day one, I think his career completely looks different. We've seen a large step from him last season, and again, he doesn't really look like he's made a whole lot of progress over last season. But had he been with him from rookie season up till now, and this is his 4th and 5th year in the offense, it would be a different story. He's had to change schemes several times throughout his career, which hasn't helped him. And again, he was never really a guy that I looked at and saw as a potential elite franchise quarterback. He's got all the tools. There's just something missing there, unfortunately. Yeah, there is something missing. Let's look at the numbers from last night. Giants had 150 total yards. They turned the ball over once on their interception and only 10 first downs, and they held the ball for 20 minutes and 50 seconds. Meanwhile, for San Francisco, 26 first downs. They didn't turn the ball over for a second straight game. 39 minutes, 10 seconds possession time, and 441 yards of offense. What the Giants tried to do was force Brock Purdy to beat him through the air. And he beat him through the air to the tune of 310 yards.
100%. And it seems like these teams are not understanding that Brock Purdy is literally taking the steps from being a game manager that he was last season into a guy who can take over a game in the passing department. I mean, with the kind of weapons that San Francisco has catching passes, you can't count out their passing game. I don't care if it's their 4th string quarterback throwing the ball, to be quite honest. Because if you look at it, I mean, George Kittle, one of the best tight ends in the world, let alone the league. Same thing with Deebo Samuel, one of the most electric wide receivers / running backs you've ever seen play the game. I mean, you can't count out this offense, and you certainly can't count against the passing offense, especially if you're not going to shut down the run game.
Exactly.
If you're not selling out to stop the run and stopping the run and making them one-dimensional, you literally will not beat the 49ers. And I mean that wholeheartedly all season long. It doesn't matter who they're playing. That includes my Eagles. You have to try and make them one-dimensional. If you allow their offense to be balanced, you're done. You have no chance.
141 yards on the ground, 18 carries, 85 yards for Christian McCaffrey plus a touchdown. Elijah Mitchell had 11 carries for 42 yards. Deebo Samuel, the star of the game, six receptions, 129 yards plus a touch. But look at how George Kittle got involved. 7 catches for 90 yards. Christian McCaffrey, 5 for 34. Jawan Jennings with 2 catches. Ronnie Bell with 2 catches, including a touchdown. You would think the 49ers would be suffering, not having Brandon Ayuk with a shoulder injury. Now they get this easy win. They get 10 days off before they have to face the Arizona Cardinals, which is the Dallas Cowboys opponent. And I got Ben Sutter coming at the top of the hour to talk about that game, this one, and quite a few others. This 49er team, 3-0, going into what could be termed a bye because they have 10 days off. And then they get Arizona and then Dallas after that. And they're both at home. This team could be absolutely hellacious coming into week 5.
Yes, it could. And it will be. I mean, there's no way around it. Like I said, this team is stacked talent-wise, top to bottom. I've heard a lot of talk, a lot of chatter about John Lynch as a GM. Man, I know everybody's entitled to their opinion, but if you're questioning the job he's done in San Francisco, you're not looking at the bigger picture, because they have been perennially good since he stepped in the door and since Kyle Shanahan got there. This is the blueprint for success for any team. And I'm not saying there's a John Lynch and a Kyle Shanahan waiting in the wings everywhere, and you can just find them on a yearly basis. That's not what I'm saying. Right. What I mean is John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan came together and they had a plan from day one. They knew what they wanted in every single position group, and they went out and got it. And that's the thing that you really need to do. It needs to be a harmonious relationship between your GM, the guy who's going out and getting you all the players, and the coach. And it needs to be married to that scheme. And this is one of the best marriages I've seen from scheme and player personnel in a long time. And that is why the 49ers will be successful for a long time, because quite honestly, it doesn't matter who they plug into each position group, because every player on that roster was specifically picked for their fit in the scheme, and they will be successful in the role they were picked for or signed for. And we've seen it time and again, especially in the run game for them. Like you said, guys like Elijah Mitchell, Christian McCaffrey, I'm blanking a couple other names that got carries last season when McCaffrey was hurt.
Jordan Mason got a couple of carries. Of course, they used Deebo Samuel out of the backfield, and we'll hit this before we go to break. Who would have thunk that Deebo Samuel out of South Carolina would be and have such an impact for such a powerful franchise that Samuel has had for San Francisco? You spoke about it a few moments ago, the perfect marriage between player and scheme and team. You're seeing it right now with Deebo Samuel. How big has Deebo Samuel been for these 49ers?
He's been everything. He's been everything for that offense. I mean, don't get me wrong, Christian McCaffrey is kind of the X factor at this point. But without Deebo Samuel, is Christian McCaffrey facing 8-9-man boxes every game? I mean, because honestly, that would be my way of beating the 49ers if they didn't have, Kittle and Deebo Samuel out wide. Because ultimately, who scares you? I mean, like, Brandon Ayuk is good, but I think he's good because of the fact that he's not the number one option at this point in his career.
Exactly.
He's always had guys to support around him. And that's why you see a guy like a Ronnie Bell stepping up when he gets hurt, because, again, there's so much talent on that offense. Who do you double team?
Right.
I mean, really.
It's like the Niners of the 80s. You double team Rice, you got John Taylor. Take away Taylor, you got Brent Jones. Take away Jones, you got Roger Craig. Take away Craig, you got Tom Rathman. I mean, the late great Hank Stram said it best during Super Bowl 24, the radio call. Who do you try to stop?
Exactly. And that's the thing about this offense, not to spend too much time harping on how amazing it is, but you don't really need a world beater at quarterback, and yet they somehow stumbled across a guy who looks like he's got all the tools to eventually do that.
And he's getting the scary part is he's getting better. He's yet to turn the ball over, hasn't thrown a pick, there was a fumble. That was in week 1, but it didn't lead to any points. He's borderline perfect. He's got an over 100 quarterback rating, And like you said, Sam, they stumbled into Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy was supposed to be nowhere on this roster, and yet Mr. Irrelevant has become very irrelevant for the 49ers.
Exactly. And I mean, honestly, this just goes to show you that, again, the 49ers are going to be successful for the long term. If you can plug in various different quarterbacks and still find success, like at that point, what do you have to worry about? I mean,
what do you
literally,
have to lose? What do you have
every
to
other
win?
team in the league is searching for that guy, and you're just over here, hey, we'll try Trey Lance. He does okay. He didn't light the world on fire, obviously, but Brock Purdy comes in, plays really well. Josh Johnson in that playoff game played really well before his injury. I mean, it's clear that Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, again, they know exactly what they need in a quarterback, and they go out and get it. And obviously, I'm not here to say that they didn't whiff on Trey Lance, but if I'm being completely honest about that situation with Lance, I don't think you see him traded if Brock Purdy's not there.
Exactly.
And to me, that's another sign of being a good GM, because they identified that Purdy was going to be the guy going forward, which I did not think they would do. I said it here on Snowman in the Morning at one point, by the way.
You did. And this was in the midst of the Niners going on a 10-game winning streak to close last season. And the game that scared you the most was his first start against Tom Brady in Tampa Bay. That's when you voiced this opinion that you're going to repeat.
100%. And I thought that Trey Lance would always still get a chance to start this season in 2023. But I was wrong. They ultimately made the right move. They avoided a quarterback controversy that was never a good idea in the first place. And they ultimately got rid of Trey Lance, arguably a little bit too early rather than too late. And that's honestly the hallmark of a good team. We see Bill Belichick do this in New England all the time.
All the time.
He will literally get rid of a problem before it ever becomes a problem. And that's what good teams do. And here we are watching the 49ers essentially follow that blueprint to a T in order for them to find success long term. And again, I think we're looking at another dynasty. We're going to have the Kansas City Chiefs. We're going to have the San Francisco 49ers, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Buffalo Bills are going to be really good teams for the next 4 to 5, possibly longer, maybe even 10 years, because the way they're built.
And it's going to be so huge. Sam Shady joining us this morning, talking all things NFL football. It's a football Friday. That means Sam has to join me. I love you, Sam. Thank you so much. I can't wait to talk to you next Friday for some more football.
Absolutely. Next Friday, I wanted to throw out there, we should possibly touch on the XFL, USFL potentially merging going forward.
We will definitely touch on that next. Friday. If not, tape something earlier in the week. Thank you, Sam. Appreciate you, partner.
Sounds great. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Man. The owner, manipulator, and the operator of the BS3 Network, a network that houses this humble show, Ben Sutter III, joins us right now. Good morning, Ben.
Good morning. How's it going? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you. Let's dive right in. The Cowboys suffered a huge loss when they lost Trayvon Diggs for the remainder of the season. How big is that loss going to be for the Cowboys?
I think it's definitely going to be big. Trayvon Diggs, one of the top corners in the league. I think he was going to have a even bigger of a season. And so, yeah, it's going to be a loss. But I do think Dan Quinn is one of those defensive coordinators that gets players that fits his scheme. So I think they'll be fine. Deron Bland is probably going to move into that spot. Jordan Lewis will be in the slot, and then we'll see who that fourth corner is going to be. So it'll be interesting. But I think they got a good test this week to kind of give them an opportunity to kind of fill some things out.
Yeah, they get that opportunity, and we'll go right into our betus.com preview. Cowboys in Arizona, 4:25 is the kickoff time from State Farm Stadium in Glendale. Let's look from the Cardinals side first. You had a 21-point lead against the New York Giants, and you let it slip away. Now you get one of the best teams coming into your house on Sunday, and it's a feature game. What do you think the attitude of the Arizona Cardinals is right now?
I mean, I think they wanna win. I don't think they have any high hopes on this season. Obviously, they don't have Kyler Murray. They have a backup. They have a new coach. So this is kind of a playing with house money, if you will, playing with not a lot of expectation. So they're going to definitely want to rattle us, and I think they're looking to at least make some noise. Obviously, I don't think they're going to get the win, but I do think they want to shake some things up and probably try some things out as they're going along through this season.
So what do the Cardinals do, to try to bounce back and get game ready for the Cowboys, a playoff team the last 3 years, I beg your pardon. And what do they do? I mean, after they had the rug pulled out from under them against the Giants.
Yeah, I think number one, I think they got to lean on the run. I do like their running back, James Conner. He's one of those bruiser type backs. So I think you've got to get to your running game. And Joshua Dobbs, who's been a pretty much career backup, I think he just can't make mistakes. I mean, if you try to pitch a perfect game, don't make mistakes, run the ball well. They don't have Buda Baker, obviously, so that's going to be a loss on their defense. But
yeah,
I think you gotta work what works best for you, and that's probably going to be running game and kind of short intermediate passes.
Yeah, they have to shorten the game. They have to use James Conner, the way that a team that loves running the ball would use their feature back. Ben Sutter III joining us here as he does every Friday. Not only do the Cardinals have to contend with the Cowboys, but the week after that, they have to contend with possibly the best team in the NFC. And of course, I'm speaking on the 49ers. Grade their performance last night against the Giants.
Yeah, I mean, the 49ers are a team that, they just take care of business. I mean, they're a fundamentally sound team. I know that's kind of like a cliche comment, but they do exactly what they need to do to win. And they dominated. The Giants are just flat out not a good team. Well, we can stop trying to prop them up, sorry wise, but they're just not a good team. I don't think Daniel Jones is it. I think he shows flashes of top tier QB, but I don't think he consistently does it. Obviously, not having Saquon, that is going to hurt you a million times. And the 49ers they exploit those weaknesses. And as long as they have a healthy McCaffrey, this team's going to win a lot of games. A healthy McCaffrey, a healthy Debo, and a healthy Kittle, they're going to win a ton of games.
85 yards for McCaffrey last night on 15 carries. He didn't get 100, but 5 yards, over 6 yards a carry, or close to 6 yards a carry against a team that kind of limited him, but the Giants didn't limit this 49er offense. I mean, 400 yards last night. 400. And 300 of those came off the arm of Brock Purdy. And you and I talked about this before. The scheme of the Giants last night was to take Purdy away. They didn't do a good job of it, did they?
No, they didn't. They didn't do a good job at all. They had one sack. Thibodeau had a sack. They had 0 interceptions. So, I mean, you have to. It's easier said than done, but you're going to have to call some turnovers.
Yeah.
If you, especially where the Giants are right now, you're gonna have to call some turnovers, and they just weren't able to do that.
No, they weren't. 30-12, the final last night. Let's go back to Dallas and Arizona, our betus.com preview. As mentioned, it's a feature game, 425 on Fox. This should be a walk in the park for the Cowboys, but I said it last night during my broadcast. As the Giants are the team that give me the shakes, the Cardinals are a team that can give the Cowboys the shakes.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those quote unquote trap games where you go into it thinking that obviously we have the better team on paper. There should be no issue. We don't need to worry about anything.
Right.
And you just can't do that in the NFL. Time and time again, we see teams that don't look like they have a chance at all, and they end up giving you a run and actually end up winning the game. And this has happened to the Cowboys numerous times. So we cannot go into this game thinking, oh, it's Joshua Dobbs. Oh, they don't have Buda Baker. Oh, it's a new coach, and we can just come in here without a solid game plan. And I think they've hopefully matured in their approach. But yeah, I think you have to game plan this just like you did the past 2 weeks, just like you're going to do with the 49ers coming up too.
Let's take a look at said game plan, and I'll allow you to fill in this sentence, to complete this sentence. The first thing the Cowboys need to do against Arizona is
run the ball. That is number one. Number two, don't make any mistakes. Don't give them an opportunity to get back in the game, which they've done well at. I'm going to give them props on that.
Yep.
Number three, you got to stop that run. I mean, James Conner is a big back. He did it in Pittsburgh. He's a great goal line running back. Anybody that's ever used him in fantasy, if he's on the goal line, he's going to get in the end zone. So that I think that's going to be their biggest test is stopping the run.
Yeah. And Connor is ready to run. It's just going to be up to the Cardinal staff to realize who they have and to fully turn them loose.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, you have a good running back that for years now has been showing that he has the ability. I think injuries obviously has been an issue for him. He had 23 carries, 106 yards. Against the Giants and a touchdown. He's averaging 4.5 per carry. So to me, there shouldn't be a lot of question marks on why or if you need to use them. You just need to use them.
Yeah.
If I was one.
Yeah. You have to use them. And going back to last night, you have to use Connor the same way the 49ers use Christian McCaffrey.
Right. True. I mean, you got to take advantage of what you have. And don't be shy. I mean, this is
right.
This age of the NFL, you're running back. You only got them for a certain amount of time, so
But I'll pose a question that Cole has posed before, and you've been on this program when he has posed said question: why are teams so allergic to running the football?
Yeah, I don't know. That is the $1 million question. And the second question, part of that is they abandon the run so quickly.
Yes.
Just because you get down a touchdown or even two, you still have to gum with a game plan, or else the defense is going to know they're going to be pass happy. All we need to do is kind of sit back and cover their wide receivers, and we're not going to worry about the run at all. You become one dimensional. So I don't know why this has happened. I think maybe it's because they just don't value the running back, which to me doesn't make any sense. You're going to need some type of running game, and you're going to need some type of guy like McCaffrey, like Pollard, like these backs that can catch out of the backfield and make plays. So it's not completely voided. You still need the guy. But I think too, the owners, to me, they try to make a point. They try to make a point, and they probably meet all together with these running backs, the one in the contracts, and we'll just decide we're not going to use them as much. I think there could be some collusion there because they don't want to pay that position because it's not going to last. The running backs aren't going to last 10 years.
Which brings me back to San Francisco, and Sam mentioned it. Sam Shady mentioned it last segment, and I want to get your thoughts on this. Having the borderline perfect back for the perfect system and the perfect scheme, the Niners have had it for years. Ricky Waters, Roger Craig, and now Christian McCaffrey. It just seems like the 49ers are one of those teams. And remember, the godfather of the West Coast offense is Bill Walsh, the late, great Bill Walsh. And it's predicated on running the football. So you have teams like the Niners that are not afraid to run the football, that are not afraid to use a bell cow running back. The Eagles are rounding into that shape with their acquisition of DeAndre Swift. But, staying in San Francisco, look at how historic the 49ers have been in running the football in this West Coast offense. And now you add a dynamic back in Christian McCaffrey, which they did at the trade deadline last year, that can give you the same situation that they had with a Roger Craig in the 80s and a Ricky Waters in the 90s.
Yeah, and the 49ers have, decades have been great at that. And most of the backs, besides Roger Craig, and we can go through, Gore, most of them weren't great. They just, like you said, they fit into a system that worked. And McCaffrey is, I would say, better than a lot of those average backs. But you gotta get a running back that fits in your system. And I think that's one thing that their coach does a great job at, is finding players that fit. And that's the difference between teams that win and don't, I think, is you don't find the players that fit the system, not just getting players just because they're talented, but can they fit exactly what you do? 49ers have years and years done great at that.
I'll give you two names in 49ers running back lore that you wouldn't think would fit their system, but did perfectly, and they each played 3 years there. Garrison Hurst, Charlie Garner.
Yep, I was going to mention Garrison Hurst, and Charlie Garner, and those two. Garrison Hurst specifically was really one of those that I remember that was just able to do what was needed to get the yardage, and he was perfect fit.
Man, and I'll talk about more of the history of 49ers running backs, next Wednesday on that 49ers show. Let's take a look at the line presented by BetUS.com. Dallas laying 13 in Phoenix, Arizona against the Cardinals. But to echo your sentence, this is a trap game for the Cowboys.
It is. And I think they'll cover ultimately, but I think this is playing in Arizona. They don't have key players. This is one of those where you could get your guard down, and it's early in the season. I hope that they have matured and will not allow this to be one of those types of games. Yeah. So I am expecting them to dominate early, often, run the score up, and then in the fourth quarter, you got Cooper Rush in. That's what I'm hoping is going to happen. Yeah. Because this is a season where I think you have to show your dominance and you have to show improvement. Because this is obviously it's a long season, but you build on that confidence as you go throughout the season. So you can't. I think they've got to really be focused on the goal at hand.
And if you are Dallas, you must look at this as a tune-up game, because you have the defending NFC West champions coming. You have to go to Santa Clara to face the 49ers, which has now become a house of haunts for the Cowboys, given what happened last January. But overall, since I'd say 1997, going to face the 49ers has been a house of haunts for the Cowboys.
Yeah, it 100% has been them. So going up against the 49ers has a lot of meaning this year. Obviously, they lost to them twice in the playoffs.
Yep.
But this, to me, that's the number one game on the schedule for the first half of the season, because
October
there's a lot that's riding on that one, and it's Sunday night, so you know everything aligns. Sunday night football, playing in Santa Clara, you lost to them twice, so that one is definitely penciled and should be penciled on all of their schedules.
Yep. And that's the last of the 3-game homestand for San Francisco. Unprecedented that they get 3 games at home. It began last night with the Giants. Next Sunday they see the Cardinals at 4:25, and then the big one against the Cowboys. And I know we're looking ahead. We're coming up on a break in a couple of seconds, but looking ahead, say the Cowboys get the win over Arizona, and they each come into that game October 8th 4-0. How nervous are the Cowboys going to be going into Santa Clara October 8th on Sunday Night Football?
Yeah, they're going to be nervous regardless because no matter what their record is, because they just have not fared well against them. I do think if you're undefeated, it gives you some confidence, but they're going to be definitely shaking in their boots because this is not a team that they've been able to show any type of dominance against.
None.
None at all.
I mean, and the 2 losses were 2 playoff games.
Right.
They were 2 playoff games. One in Dallas, that was of course the wild card, and one in Santa Clara. That of course the divisional. And now you're going into that game, looking ahead again. You're going into that game minus Trayvon Diggs. And should the 49ers get healthy and get Brandon Ayuk back, they have 10 days off now after their dominating win against the Giants. And I'll say it again. I'll say it the way I said it to Sam last segment. That could absolutely be hellacious coming out on Sunday night, October 8th in Santa Clara in front of the faithful. My goodness.
Yeah, because you know the 49ers are going to pick on whoever that corner is. That corner that hasn't played a lot, that third or fourth corner, they're going to pick on him all night long. So yeah, there's a lot riding on that one.
Yeah, there is. But they got to take care of business here against Arizona. That is Ben Sudduth III joining us here as he does every single Friday. Thank you, my friend. I love you. Thank you to the BS3 Network for housing this program. My entire staff appreciate you. And a message from Dr. K, who is my chief financial officer and one of my programming experts. She thanks you as well for believing in us and believing in this program and in this project.
Definitely. Thank you as well. As always, Cole Sports at 2 and Poppy J and Wise at 8, right here on BS3 TV on Roku. Appreciate you.
We appreciate you. Thank you, Ben.
All right.
And now, the transporter to Hades, the reformer of hooker whores, and the bronze god, the one, the only, the legendary Chris Bay.
Hometown of Chicago, and my homie Chris Bass is here with us this morning. A happy boom shakalaka to you, old bald brother of mine, and we love having you.
Well, I love the love. Of course, as always, what's up to the Rain Man? What's up to the Mad Scientist? What's up to the hooded down G of Wise El Jefe? And to the boys and girls in the comment section, a happy boom shakalaka to you.
The hooded down G.
Hooded down G. What can I say, man?
It's bad hair day.
You got bad hair day? Okay.
So that's bad hair day for you. Okay, gotcha. All right. So what is on your mind, sir?
A lot. I come with a very mean heart. It has nothing to do with this program or anybody involved. It's just that I hate my neighbors. And it's been a very wild morning before all this started. And I might have to jump off real talk because we have maintenance going up and down the stairs here in the building. So I might have to jump off because my upstairs neighbors have definitely need to go back to hell. That's a whole different conversation. So
wow.
My next door neighbors, they have a dog. I don't know what the dog is. One of them animated dogs that you get from the test tube and it's you can't sneeze around it because it's allergenic, whatever the hell it is, and it's a hypo dog Scooby Doo looking thing. So whatever it is, the children, who are 2 girls, so I'm like here, obviously, then the neighbor's next door to me. So we have a back door. This is right next here to my apartment. So they come to the back door. You hear the mutt scrambling and everything. And what usually that they do is that the mutt would mess up the floor mat and my welcome mat outside of my door. They never straighten it out. They never try to say, okay, well, let's go back and straighten it out. They're rat bastards on that count alone. If your mutt with all 4 paws is coming through here like not even going north, go back and take your black ass and straighten up the mats like you're supposed to. But no, who's straightening out? Me, not you, not me. Me. I gotta straighten it out.
Me find me,
because it's tiring. Like take you and your bonding mutt and put it in the house and then come back out and straighten the mess on the floor. I don't ask for much. I don't.
That's the soundbite I wish I clipped when Bass would say me. Oh, Doug.
Right. Nobody. I don't ask for much.
Cole, I got you. I will clip it today.
Christ on the cross. I'm telling you.
Oh my God.
It's goddamn ridiculous.
It's messed up when you have neighbors who are extremely inconsiderate, and they allow the inconsideration to go, and that is extremely disrespectful.
Dude, I ain't through. I got one more of their rat bastard asses. So they, for some reason, I don't know what he's talking about behind my back or whatever it is. Whenever they see me, they jump. I talked about it before. They'll be on the hallway. I ain't got nothing to do with it. I'm trying to live my brown life.
Oh, Lord.
You know what I'm saying? I don't mess with nobody. They see me, like I got some ugly, MFer, which I am not. But you could have swore I came from, zombie land. And they jump and they do all the goddamn time. And I'm tired. It's like, look, I ain't the one. Because again, when they would come around with that hypo mutt that they jump around with, they see me, ain't no damn, it's not that serious. So when I see them, I give it right back to them.
So, considering you said that you're brown, I'm assuming the neighbors who are scared of you are not.
They're brown too.
Oh, boy, that's sad.
Yes.
All I have to say,
man, they ain't the one, man. They about to catch some hell.
All I have to say to them are,
"You fool! You do it again!
Lord have
you
mercy.
Fool!"
That was a good one. It looked like you're about to crap yourself, Raymond.
Really.
Man, that's like indigestion type fool.
You should have seen the entire rant.
Look, I don't have to be around you. I've seen all your rants, Doc. I've seen enough to last me a lifetime, Doc.
Well,
let the new kids on the block. I'm sorry. I know Wise don't like anything Boston. That's how I hate my neighbors. The way Wise El Healthy hates Boston.
The wrong stuff.
You gotta play. Cole, you gotta play that PS. You gotta play that.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. That's how I hate my neighbors, man.
Please play that.
They Boston.
That Wise PSA.
They Boston.
Oh
Lord.
My.
Oh Lord, have mercy. So you're saying this is how? Oh
The
Lord.
following is a public service announcement from Wise El Jefe.
Boston.
This has been a public service announcement from Wise El Jefe.
That's about right.
Wise El Jefe, you are right.
I tell you about right.
Because that's how I hate my neighbors, man. The hell with them.
I feel
They're
you.
DOD and SOS. They stuck on stupid and dangling on dumb.
Wow. Double acronymed. Okay.
As I've said often this week in the immortal words of the late great Jack Buck, pardon me while I stand up and applaud for that double play right there.
They are so horrendous. You double acronym them. Wow. Okay.
Stuck on stupid and dangling on dumb.
Yes.
That's a must. That's a must clip, and that's a must use.
A sauce dod.
A sauce dod. Oh gosh.
I apologize for my behavior.
No. Don't apologize for your behavior. They simply need to they simply need to apply here.
So I realized that I think even though it's not advertised,
right,
there has to be a place for stupid people. We don't know because we're not stupid, so we don't know anything about it. It's like a secret club society.
Oh my gosh.
So I come to the conclusion that he graduated from SU, stupid university. Yeah, all the stupid ass letters that go along with graduating high honors of being stupid. I can't do no more, man.
Vámonos, dominos, vámonos. Stupid university, where everyone graduates. Magna cum stupid.
Base, I got a question for you, Base. And this is this goes along the line of stupid people.
Yeah, go ahead.
Someone I truly enjoy talking about. I really do love talking about him.
And we will talk about him later on today.
This fat, greasy
12 sandwich eating bastard.
That kind of guy, yeah. Mr. Jason Whitless. Why is he hating so much on Deion? Like, why is this man?
This is only a part of Wise's upcoming rant, folks. This is only a small.
I just got to know, like,
part of it.
You're professional. You're professional, Base. You're professional. And this man has no professionalism whatsoever.
None.
He's what you call a rat bastard. This is your rat bastard. Yes, this is him. He is that right there. But this man, what? It's like you're supposed to be a professional, but none of this comes out. None of this professionalism comes out as far as it comes to Deion. Why do you think he hates Deion so much?
Victor says, "Oh wait." Victor says, "Oh wait, we're talking about that stuffed pig again."
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Wise. Go ahead.
I would love Base's opinion on this because I know he's gonna shoot it straight.
First of all, thank you for that. And real talk, the reason why someone like Jason Whitlock says what he said, because first and foremost, he hates himself. And I mean that from a psychological standpoint. When you look in the mirror and you can't find anything right with you, you push that on other people. And I mean this sincerely. If you can't love yourself, you can't love anybody else. You can't embrace yourself. You can't embrace anybody. I've seen it throughout working in terrestrial radio, and that would be any walk of life. But my business working in radio and personalities. First and foremost, someone like that definitely needs to have a psychiatric sit down or lay down, eat some ribs if he wants to make himself feel more comfortable during the session. He can have some tiny bite-sized morsels of rib tips if he likes, and get down while he's talking to a psychiatrist, because
Lord have mercy.
that type of hatred continues on throughout only our people, anybody else's people, but when you inject that into broadcasting, he's at the right place we're supposed to be, because the Blaze is also the place where Glenn Beck created. So that's Glenn Beck.
That's right.
The conservative talk show host. That's his deal.
Yep.
So he's right where he's supposed to be. So that's fine. But to answer your question thoroughly, people like him, you go past the race of just hating himself and hating his own skin tone.
Yes.
It's the hatred of not ever to be an athlete. It's the hatred of someone who's achieved something you would never even achieve in life. You couldn't dream about it and still not be Deion Sanders. You could dream about that and still not get to the level of him. You can sit down and have a snore, drool and everything else, and you could never. You could purchase the sunglasses, you can do what you ever want to do, but you can't even take a whiff of Deion Sanders' jock strap. You can get on your fat knees and pray, may I smell the hem of your jockstrap. And it will never happen. Why? Because you're player hating from all different types of levels.
What sucks about this is the dude actually played football. Not professionally, but he was actually an offensive lineman in college. And you would think
Where?
Ball State. So around your area. So you would think that this guy so you would think this guy would have some sort of understanding as to any athlete, especially any football player, especially a guy who actually played the sport you did, but at a higher level and an elite level at that, that you would even come. Yes, ELITE, elite level, that you would not. You wouldn't.
He hates elite. That's his problem.
Because you would. Because you would, to me, because I played an offensive line, but I did not play in the pros. You would think that you would have some level of respect for that at least. But this guy talks as if he doesn't, and I'm like, what is up with you?
No, but then when you start attacking the
this guy played this sport at a higher level than you, and you don't even have the guts, you don't even have the balls to actually give the respect that is due to this guy.
Bro, when this dude, but then when you start attacking his character, calling him a fraud, calling him a fake Christian, what kind of Christian are you to be doing this? Like you're such an almighty Christian, but
Judge, lest you not be judged.
Being a Christian, proud of it, that isn't Christian behavior at all.
Judge, yes, and
that's what I'm saying.
Judge, lest you not be judged. That's the scripture.
Yeah.
You also got to go religious route. There are such things as false prophets.
100.
Exactly.
Wow. Yes, sir.
So
yes, sir.
Someone like Jason Whitlock, man, I'm telling you, he's enjoying the time from hell because obviously he escaped, and he's enjoying the ice cream and the air conditioning and everything else. That's why his ass is so fat, because he's been overindulging. So
asked for this why so he can have to say that, didn't you?
No, look, man. When you deal with a person, I mean, think about working with somebody on a daily basis, man. That hurts. I dealt with some brothers like that, man. It's like you, like me personally. This before I sired myself with a butter knife to put people back to hell all those years ago. I could have got me a steak and put it through these Negroes' hearts. And say, you gotta go back. Hey, man, you beyond. You're not even Dracula or Blackula. The way you guys actually insulted those vampires.
Yep.
Put that stake in the heart, man, and then and don't do them with 6 feet under. Do 12 feet
or 18. Triple it.
Hey, tell you what, let's just burn them, man. Let's just burn. No, I'm not trying to start anything, but you burn the body, get all the ash and everything else. And some people out there, hey, man, that's the ash going to waste. All right, then you smoke them.
Or as wise,
can we just cue the music and send Jason Whitlock back to hell, please?
Or as wise, or as Wise said, wrap up in the sheets that he espouses in sports, find the nearest pool, jump in it, and drown himself.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yes.
Cole, what's that clip you led the commercial break with Wise?
Oh, with Wise?
Yes. Not the PSA, but
not the PSA. You mean no?
What you're talking about?
You're not talking about the F Dallas one, are you?
No. Okay.
No.
When you put the no sign on.
Oh yeah. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah. I know exactly.
Can you play that?
Yeah, sure. No problem. Let's see if I can find it, and I will definitely play it.
And a salute to base.
Yes, definitely.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. New Kids on the Block, New Edition,
dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason Whitlock.
Ready day.
He said, "Go F yourself again, Jason."
Again. Again. Yes.
He said again.
Go F yourself again.
Because I've said it numerous times.
He said it numerous times. Still, yeah.
Yes, he has. Quick programming note: mentality is back on Snowman Multimedia, television and radio, 5 days a week, beginning Monday. Had to get some things reorganized. Also, Cole Sports will be replayed on Snowman on a Snowman Multimedia and caught live as well. Got a pretty good handle on my schedule since I've returned to work. Just a matter of getting everything together. And I must praise my beautiful wife, Jody K, for helping with my schedule as well, and making sure that I write everything down. And I got the schedule right here in front of me. The picks, she helped me get organized. She helped me organize the picks this morning, and must invoke all kinds of love and praise on my beloved Dr. K for helping with this morning's show, and to you, Wise, for your wonderful rant on the city of Boston, which I love kind of listening to. And I found the full one now, and I put it in my playlist. Just when I'm having a tough day at work, I play it when I'm out driving. I kind of play it, especially when I do Uber Eats. I play it just so I can laugh when I go to my next delivery. The one we got one from Cole. Y'all got one from me, March 19th, which is where the "You Fool" clip came from. And earlier this week, we got one from Cole when it came to the Chicago Bears. We're going to clip them all and do a best of. We got a couple minutes left. We'll give Base the final parting shot before we get out of here.
Oh, well, thank you for letting me be myself again. Again, I came with a ranting heart because I hate my neighbors, and they know what they can do with themselves right now. But as always, it's always great to come here and get a chance to be with you gentlemen and things of that nature. So it really means a lot to me. Just of course the plug that is almost really shameless. I can't even pay myself anymore. So when you go to Facebook and YouTube, I'm on YouTube channel now, and Facebook, and you type in Chris Base, CHRIS, B as in broadcasting, ASE. You check it out. You see me. I told you about 8,000 Chris Bases. They all go back to hell too. I'm the original. Make sure you become a part of that. Hey man, I'm on the road, man. Everybody going to hell. So make sure you like and share, make sure you become friends. Also on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, like, and share. Make sure you go to 5 of your friends and 15 of your enemies at this stage of the game.
Now.
Chris Base will be in the air.
It's
5 of your friends and 15 of your enemies. Woo.
Oh today. Man, Chris Base, my hometown.
Inflation,
yep.
Huh?
Inflation big time. Chris Base from my hometown of Chicago. Thank you very much, brother. We all love you. We adore you. Thanks for coming again.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother. Everybody in the comment section, have a great weekend. To my brother, a great weekend as well.
Thank you.
You too, man.
Join the transporter to Hades.
Your butt and gut becomes one.
Join the reformer of hooker whores.
This is my daughter, Placenta Booty Johnson.
Join the bronze god.
Whenever you are in distress, take off your baseball cap and throw it in the air.
Join your very own superhero of broadcasting, Chris Base.
So whatever color crown they get, they palm it and do 2 circles, and that translates to, I can be the black people.
As he takes you through the week's paces in Baseline. Live every Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, Pacific time zone people, just stay asleep when this is on live and just catch the recording. Oh, I'm sorry. Exclusively on the Chris Base YouTube channel.
I swear my partner's an idiot. Have a great weekend. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move. And always remember, if your dreams don't scare you,
and they're simply not big enough.
And I invoke the words of the late, great Nipsey Russell. Put a thing off till tomorrow and you live your life in vain. Do it today. And if you like it, tomorrow you can do it again. So long, everybody.
See ya.
Give me this. Give me this. Give me this. Give me this. Give me this camera. Yes, LeBron, it is you. It's always been you. It always will be you. Forever and ever. Amen.